Hello.
Hi, Miss.
Ah, there we go. Hello. How are you both?
We are
I'm
good.
good.
I'm good. I'm
It's nice to meet you.
good. Okay. So, hello, Miss. My name is Erland. Um, Nahdah. Okay, first. We are a little bit nervous here. Sorry.
That's okay. Don't be nervous. It's fine. I'll try and help as best that I can.
um, First of all, thank you in advance, Miss, for being a native teacher for us to interview for our final project. And before that, let me introduce myself. I'm Nahdah Alicia Isan, Nahdah, and my group partner, he is Erland.
Yes, Erland
Say
J.
hello, Erland.
Hi.
Hello, it's nice to meet you, Erland and Nahdah. I'm Catherine. I'm from England, and although I don't currently teach, I have been teaching for the last 7 years online. So
Uh,
Um, and today we will give you several questions that you can answer based on your experience. And we start now. Yes.
that's
Okay.
fine.
First question will be delivered by Erlan. Please, Erlan, go.
okay. I wanna ask about how was your journey as a teacher? How was your journey when you start your career as a teacher and decide to become a teacher? Like that.
Mm. So I didn't always want to be a teacher. It just kind of happened. My background was in psychology. I did my degree in psychology. And then after my degree, I got a job in a residential children's care home. And that kind of led me down the path of wanting to help children more and supporting children. So then I moved jobs. We moved to a different area in England. So I changed jobs and I became a special educational needs assistant at a school. And there, like, I was supporting children more in education. And it was just so rewarding helping these kids improve and grow. So then I decided to study more and I did a PGCE, which is like your teaching qualification in England. So I did that to qualify as a teacher. Um, but I wasn't able to go into schools because I just had a baby. So I couldn't then go into full-time work in a school. And I was like, oh, I really still want to teach. I want to help kids. What can I do? And that's when I found online teaching. And that was in 2017. So I've been teaching online ever since. So it's been a long path, but like now I've been doing it. It's what I like, I was meant to do. I love it. So yeah.
It's a really interesting journey. Oh my God.
It's long.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
So maybe next.
Okay. Next question. What are your reason for becoming a teacher, and do you enjoy role as a teacher, Miss?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, as I said, it wasn't like I wasn't a kid and thought, oh, I'm going to be a teacher. It just kind of happened. Um, but I really, really do love it. And obviously, when I worked in the schools and I worked with children, that's when I knew, oh, this is so amazing. It's such, excuse me, sorry, it's such a rewarding career. Like you can build that professional relationship with children from such a young age, and you can make a real positive impact on their lives. And I just think that there's nothing else as rewarding as doing that. And you really can make a difference with, children and their future. Although it's challenging, it's hard work, but it's really, really rewarding. So the benefits outweigh the negatives, I suppose. So I like it, yeah.
Uh, Maybe, Miss, sorry. If you want to drink, you just can drink. You're
uh,
comfortable there. Yeah.
don't worry. I've got a cold. I don't know where it came from, but it's just my throat. It's making me cough a little, but I'm okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Uh, Listen to your story just now. It's make me remember to my lectures. Her name is Miss Nia, and she is really like teachings because teaching is she teachings not because of her job, but because her hobby, because like that. Yeah,
It's
that's
really,
interesting.
I think you can't find that in many jobs. Like many people go to work because they have to. Like you need to earn money to pay for food and things. But teaching, I feel like people go into that job not for the money because it doesn't pay well.
Yeah.
We don't go in it for the money. We go in it because of the impact we can have on the children. Like we feel like we can make such a difference to their lives. That's why we do it.
Hmm, that's interesting. Maybe for next question is, what are some of the challenges you have faced as a teacher, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah. So in teaching, obviously, there's things that you can't always control. Obviously, I'm relating more to like online teaching, but even face to face, like if you work for a school, for example, you're not in charge. You don't make all the decisions. The school will tell you what you have to teach. They'll tell you if you have to do like tests and assessments for the kids. And not all kids learn in the same way. So that can make it really challenging for you when your passion is to do your best for the children, but you have strict rules and procedures in place to follow. So that makes it really difficult. So, in that sense, like all you can do is just try and adapt what you've been given to the children you're teaching at the time. So when I was studying to be a teacher, I try and include lots of like play-based learning or sensory learning. So like in maths, for example, we would play a game. So we do like bingo, where you're learning how to tell the time. So we'd call out like 6 o'clock, and then the kids had to look at their sheet and they cross out if they had 6 o'clock. We'd make it into a game rather than just having to answer questions. Or in English, like if we're doing storytelling, we'd get up and we'd act out the characters, or we'd make puppets for the characters, things like that. So we're still following the curriculum, what we have to teach, but we can change how we teach that to the kids. So that's a really big challenge to overcome. And then obviously online, technology is a nightmare. It's so awful.
Yeah.
especially when you're teaching abroad. So I was teaching lots of children in China, and the connection's not always good. So that makes it really hard when you're trying to teach something and then their internet drops. And then when they come back, obviously they've lost the concentration. So you have to start again. So that's quite difficult. But to overcome that, I just would make sure like my connection, everything I could do was good. And then I'd offer additional resources so that if they missed something or we didn't have time to go through it because they lost connection, I'd give them like a video to watch after class or some worksheets to do that would help like make up that time, I suppose. So whatever problem there is in teaching, you can always adapt and overcome that challenge.
That's really good. I don't know how to say. It's like uh in the class there is what is a speaking subject, and we could presentation something, and sometimes it's have challenges that we have never faced before, and it's really we could adapt about it. Okay.
It can, like when you're in a high pressure, like you're doing a presentation, then it can be really stressful because you're
Yes.
focusing on like, oh, I need to do well, I have to get a good grade. But over time, like you'll learn to be really quick thinking because you've experienced it before. So if you've had that issue in the past, the next time it happens, you'll be like, oh, I know what to do. This is easy. And then you're already prepared. So it's all, it's can be stressful, but it's good experience.
Yeah. Experience is a really good teacher. Yeah.
Yes, it helps you. Yes.
Okay, next, maybe.
What do you like most about being a teacher, and what are your most memorable moment as a teacher?
Okay, so I've written some notes, so that's why I'm just looking that way. So the best part I found, well, there's a couple of things, so I'll talk about two. But the first one is with online teaching, obviously I'm a Western person, I have Western characteristics, and the children I would teach in China aren't always used to that. It can be quite like difficult, or especially for the younger children, 3, 4, 5 year olds. And then my face pops up on the screen. It's a bit scary. Like they haven't seen a Western person before. So so it takes time to win them over, build that trust. And if you haven't built any trust with the children, then you're not going to teach them anything. Like nothing's going to go in. So job number one is build that rapport with the kids, gain their trust, and then you start seeing their face just relax in the class. And that's when you're able to then move on and teach them. So one of my favorite parts is when I've met a new student, they're all tense and they won't talk, they won't do anything. And then I've been able to build up that relationship within like 5 minutes, and they're laughing and smiling. And then we're able to get on with the lesson. And that's so rewarding, like that they can trust me to then do what I need to do as a teacher. So that's amazing. I love that. And then secondly, and you'll hear this from any teacher, is what we call a light bulb moment. So when you've been working so hard with a student, it could be a day, could be a couple of months, and they're just not getting it. Like you're trying different things and they don't get it, and it's so hard. Then all of a sudden, all of that work just comes to them at once, and they're like, "Oh, teacher, I understand, I know," and they can answer, and that's like incredible. You're like I'm doing a good job. They actually get it. I can teach. And it's great for them too. They're like, teacher, I worked so hard and now I can do it. So that's amazing. I love that when they get it. And I had one particular student who I loved, like who was definitely a favorite. And you shouldn't have favorites, but it's natural. Everyone has favorites.
Yeah.
And I love this kid. And he really like at school, he hated English. His mum would come on and be like, he just fails all his English tests. He can't do it. He hates it. And I don't teach in a traditional way. Like I teach through what's called story-based learning. So I use children's books to teach English. So, and he hated reading. So I was like, oh, what are we going to do? He's not going to like my class. Anyway, so we meet and he's like, oh, like he can't answer the questions because he doesn't know much English. But we keep going every week. We keep going. We keep going. We keep reading these books. And then 2 months in, like his mom comes on like, he's at home. His favorite class is your English class every week. And like he's coming to the lesson from he couldn't read the book to now he's reading on his own. And I was like, whoa, like this is amazing. I'm so proud of you. And like that memory sticks in my mind because you just think, whoa, like look what I've done to help this kid believe in himself, work so hard, and now he can do it. Like that life lesson will stay with him forever. Like he might not remember me, he might not remember the English class, but the lesson of if I just keep trying, I'll keep going with this, I can do it. And that will stay with him forever now. So that's like my favorite moment. Yeah.
Okay. After I listened to your story, that I really thankful to the God because met with you. So I understand. I'm sorry. So I understand why you want to help us because you all like to helping people. It's really good.
Mm.
Thank you, and it's really motivate to me.
Oh, I'm glad. I try and help. Like I think you can't be a teacher if you don't want to help people. Like that's the
Yeah,
job.
yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I try.
So next is what is the most important thing you learn as a teacher, and how do you think you can be a good teacher?
Is it question 5? So motivating, like how do you motivate your
Yeah.
students? Sorry, Erland, I coughed, so I didn't hear you.
Okay.
So some kids obviously like their parents make them do the classes. They don't actually want to be there themselves. So that can be quite challenging to win them over and encourage them. But it just takes time. Like, number one, you have to be really patient. Like, not all kids are going to want to learn. And I think you have to come into each class removing any baggage that you might have. So, any like negativity that you have, any of your like personal life problems that you have, you just have to put that to one side and come into class as like a fresh, positive person. And that will really help start off the lesson in the best way. And then when you're in class, like it's all about that positive encouragement and that praise. And a lot of people get this wrong where you're focusing on that end result, like what they need to have achieved by the end. Everyone seems to focus on that. But actually, when you're like, but you're approaching your students, you need to be more focused on their effort and the journey to get there. That's what's going to help you build that positive rapport and encourage and motivate your students because they're like, my teacher is invested in me. My teacher cares about me. They don't care if I get an A grade. Like, that's the parent's job. They care about me, where I'm at now. They care about the journey I'm going on, and they care about helping me get there and achieving those results. So being that positive encouragement every day that they show up to class is what's really important, and you'll get more feedback from your students that way. If they're motivated and they feel like this is a good interaction, then they're going to try harder in class. They're going to be more confident and speak up more, answer more questions on their own. So that is like what I would say is important in motivating your students to participate and try their best. Your attitude has to be correct first and foremost.
Okay. Wait a moment. Sorry.
It's
Because
okay.
my Wi-Fi connection is a little bad.
It's
Sorry.
okay.
Okay. Next questions.
Okay, so what is in preparing weekly on or monthly lesson plan, Miss?
Can you say Nahdah? It broke up a little bit for me.
Of course, Miss. What is your routine preparing weekly or monthly lesson?
Okay, so like how do I plan my material basically? Okay. So
Right.
I'm probably a little bit different to how other teachers might go about it, because when I was teaching, I would individualize the lessons. So I would tailor each class to my students' needs where they're at. But obviously, I didn't want to make like so many lessons. It's just too much. So with me teaching through books, I would choose the book we were going to study. Then I would map out some bullet points. I'd go through the book, read the book, map out some bullet points of key like target areas. So do I want to target language? Do I want to look at different comprehension, characters, settings, that sort of thing? So I'd pick out things from the book that I wanted to highlight in my lessons. And then I'd make the classes. So I would block it out where, because I do all mine online. So I use a program called Canva, and I'd make all my graphics online for the lessons of the book. The children had the book, I had the book. So we had the one each. And then once I've got that lesson template made, what I could do is each week I would adapt the lesson depending on the student I had. So I have the book, I have the right level for that book, like English level, but then I can slightly alter an activity. So let's say, I'm trying to think of an example. Let's say I'm looking at characters for the book, and I have a lower level student and a high level. I might, for the lower level student, change that activity slightly for that lesson that week. And I'd have a picture of the character, some descriptive words, and they'd have to build sentences with the sentence framework that I'd give. But in the same book, I could have a different slide for a higher level, and I just have a picture, and I'd have to get the student to do that themselves. So they need to pick out descriptions, build the sentences, add in some different things like conjunctions, for example, to make their sentences better, use different language. So I can adapt that activity I've made, but to suit those individual students. So I think it's important to start with that foundation. So you have your framework, and then you're not having to make like the same lesson 5 times for 5 different students. All you're doing is just slightly altering an activity based on what level that student's at. So I do it like that. And then obviously I'm just ticking off for myself. I don't tell the students this, but I'm ticking off for myself. Have we developed vocabulary? Have we looked at comprehension? Are we assessing listening skills? So with each book, I make sure that I've ticked off each area of English development. So we're targeting all those skills. So my students still have the opportunity to improve, and I'm not like leaving anything behind, if that makes sense. So everything's being targeted, and they're able to grow then.
Yeah. Maybe next time if I am become teacher, I will try that activity. It's really interesting. And it scans how I say it in English. I'm sorry, I forget.
That's okay, don't worry.
But it's different. Share, not share. Like this one, and this one. What is called?
I, I
Yeah.
think you mean, I'm going to put it in the chat for you. Hold on. So if so there's this word called differentiate,
Yeah, different.
which is like, yeah, you have the same activity, but let's say you've got groups
Yeah,
and you adapt to that activity to suit those levels, so everyone can access the material but at the right level to suit them. So that's what we do in England. It's differentiating materials.
thank you.
That's okay.
Uh, Next questions is which one? I'm sorry.
That's okay. I think we
Because
did up to 5 and then we went to 10. So we've got 6, 7, 8, 9.
yeah, because I really like to listen your story, so I'm forget the questions.
Don't worry.
Number 6 is how do you make lessons fun and interesting?
Yeah, so it's a little different with online to face to face. I think face to face is so much easier because like the children can interact there and then with lots of different materials. So you have everything to hand that you can give them, and it just makes it more practical. Whereas online's a bit harder.
Yeah.
So online, because there's distractions everywhere. So you're not with that student, you're literally on a screen
Yeah.
that's teeny tiny, and they've got their everyday life around them, toys, the telly, family members, someone's cooking, I don't even know, loads of things are going on. So the student can easily do this and not listen to you at all. So you have to get their attention, so it's a lot harder. So to do that, I use a range of tools. So one most important is the platform you teach on. So making sure that it's interactive. The platform that I used, we could draw, write on, they could put on post-it notes, and it had like interactive rewards. So it would have some stars and music that I could do like when they've done well, that sort of thing. And it also had like build, I don't know how to say it. It's like have you heard of Minecraft, the
Yeah,
game?
yeah, I'm ever play.
Ah, it's like that, yeah. So they have like a game zone where the children can build with blocks. So we can use that as reward time at the end of class. So I'm always like, if you do a good job in class, we'll go and we'll play in like the game area, and then they can build. And we're still like doing language learning. So I can be like, oh, can you make a house? What are you putting in the house? Who's this house
Oh,
for? So we're still learning language, but it's gamified. So they're like, oh, this is really fun. I'm playing, I'm not learning. So it's like a trick. So that's two things. And then I try to include hands-on stuff as much as I can. So I can't remember what we were doing. I think we were teaching a non-fiction reading about cats, I think it was. So we were learning facts about cats because this kid likes cats. And so I found an origami tutorial to make a paper cat. So after we did like the facts learning and the reading, we then made like we read the instructions together. So like cut this, fold this. So they were still learning English, but
But
cat together in the class and then showing the cat. So things like that. And then just making sure broke. So let's say it's an hour to focus, like 20 minutes is about like an hour is so long. So I make sure that my lesson material is in short chunks. So for example, we do like 5 minutes of phonics, so learning our reading sounds. Then I move on and we're doing like a matching activity or spelling activity. Then I move on and we're doing something else. So it's short, like we're still doing an hour of English, but it's broken up rather than we're reading for an hour because that's so long and boring. Like I find that boring. The kids are going to find that boring. So we break up the lesson into shorter chunked activities. And then that helps keep their attention because they're having to like focus on, oh, we're doing that now. Okay, now we're doing something new. That's exciting. Oh, let's do this now. So those are a few things. Making sure it's you've got tools to interact with the children and they can do things on the screen. Reward them so you're positively encouraging and motivating them to participate, and then breaking up your lesson into shorter tasks rather than one long focused like end goal, I suppose.
Okay, sorry because our time is limit, just like 7 minutes again. Maybe one last questions from Nahda.
Okay, next. What is your advice for prospective who are about to start their career, Miss?
Oh, Nahdah, it went again. So for prospective advice for like people going into teaching as a career,
Yeah, Miss.
and is this online or face to face?
It's maybe good with your experiences.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So advice. That's a tricky one. Because obviously everybody's style is different.
Yeah.
I would say the most important things is to be adaptable. A lot of people expect children to adapt to the teacher, but that's wrong. I'm just gonna say it's wrong. If you're expecting like all these students in a class, 30 kids, to all learn the same way, or think the same way, or focus the same way, or motivated the same way, then you're setting yourself up to fail. Just go home. So it's really important to know that before you enter a classroom, you as the teacher, your responsibility is to adapt your teaching style to suit the children in that class. So even if like, let's say with mine, I teach through stories, well, not every kid is going to enjoy that process. So then I have to change how I'm teaching. Maybe we still use the book, but they do the reading at home and we do activities in the lesson, for example. So I change up what it is that they have to do with me in the lesson because it improves their concentration and it improves their participation, which will then lead to better progress because they're speaking more, right? So you have to be able to do that in class. A lot of traditional teaching, which you might find that you have to do, like it's worldwide, is using workbooks, worksheets. And naturally, kids don't actually learn that way. Like it kind of goes against what they're naturally like inquisitive about. Kids learn best through play, through interaction, through multisensory materials. So I would say learn about your kids as soon as you get them in the classroom. Try and understand them. How do they approach things? How do they learn? What motivates them? And then adapt yourself, change how you might teach something that's going to suit them, because that way round, they'll make so much more progress with you than if you expect them all to behave a certain way, to do everything like in a certain way, with the workbooks, for example, or to focus all the time at the same pace. So it's really important you adapt to the students, not they adapt to you. So I hope that helps answer your question.
Really good advice for us. But I
Glad.
Thank
agree
you.
with your statement because I ever like trying teaching the children's. So it's really hard if they are could adapt with us because they are still children and they are still like playing like that. So we can adapt with their.
Yeah. And they're still so young. So it's not just the education side you've got to deal with. You've got to prepare for the development as well, like mentally, emotionally. Like some kids are slower to develop in those areas. So they are going to find it harder to focus for longer periods of time and not have like behavioral outbursts. So it's, as a teacher, you're going to have a lot to negotiate and deal with, but honestly, with time, it will get easier. And if you have the right attitude walking into the classroom, the kids will pick up on that so much. And then you'll have a really positive relationship with them. So, as long as you know why you're going into teaching and why this career is for you, then you'll make such a difference. Like it'll be amazing for you.
Hey, thank you. Hey, we
Thank you,
have a really
Miss.
limited time here, 2 minutes left. Okay, Nada, maybe enough.
Thank you very much, Miss, for the time and opportunity. We are really grateful, yeah, Erland,
Yeah.
to meet me, and I hope Miss always happy and healthy. Um, and sorry if our English is not good,
Oh,
and hope we can do better in the future. Erland, is
oh,
there anything you want to tell, Miss?
Maybe really thank you very much. And how I say in polite way, like I don't know, is it polite? Uh, Miss is now is getting sick. So how you what? Cepat sembuh.
Satu minute.
How do you say it?
Get
Firstly,
well soon, Miss.
strawberry.
oh.
Yeah,
Thank you ever so much. No, I really, yeah, I was a bit skeptical when you sent your message because you get so many scams. So I was like, oh, is this a real thing? But I wanted to help,
yeah,
other, teachers. Like, so I went ahead with it, and I'm so glad that I did. It's a
yeah.
pleasure to meet you both. You're so wonderful,
Yes. Thank you, you too, Miss.
really enthusiastic. So I wish you all the best with your teaching career and
Thank
good luck
you.
to you both. Yeah, all the best for your future. Have a healthy and happy life. And I hope we can stay connected. It was lovely to meet you.
Yeah, me too. It's really, really nice experience for me.
Thank you
Thank
ever
you
so
very
much, both
much.
of you. Thank you, Nahda. Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you, Miss.
Maybe,
Nice to meet you. See you,
maybe it's
Miss.
nice. Goodbye.
Bye.